What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a movie from a director that made me fall in love with movies, and that is Edgar Wright. I've talked about it a bunch of times on my channel, but Hot Fuzz is really one of the first movies in my life that made me genuinely fall in love with cinema as an art form. The way that Edgar Wright utilizes his editing, the musical choices, the performances that he gets from his actors to create wholly unique experiences is one of the things that I've loved about Edgar throughout his entire career. And his catalog is very wide in variety, but no matter what it is, I feel like when you watch an Edgar Wright movie, you know that it's an Edgar Wright movie for a multitude of reasons, like I said. And he is genuinely like one of my favorite people. I think that he is just a truly wonderful person who seems to love cinema as an art form for all the reasons that I do, which is one of the reasons I always look forward to seeing whatever he's going to put out. And Hot Fuzz is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it so much, and there's a ton of films in his filmography that mean the world to me. I think I saw Scott Pilgrim like 8 or 9 times over the course of 3 weeks. I worked at a movie theater, so I was able to go see it multiple times, but I just love that movie with every fiber of my being. There's, everything in his catalog. So I saw the trailer for this, and I had my reservations at first because it didn't immediately feel like an Edgar Wright movie from the trailer, but I was like, been watching this guy for a long time. I have the utmost faith that he can do it. This is obviously a remake of a movie, but once again, it's Edgar Wright. I wholly put my trust in him when it comes to this type of material, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about The Running Man today. The Running Man is directed by Edgar Wright. Desperate to save his sick daughter, working class Ben Richards is convinced by the Running Man's charming but ruthless producer to enter the deadly competition game as a last resort. But Ben's defiance, instincts, and grit turn him into an unexpected fan favorite and a threat to the entire system. As ratings skyrocket, so does the danger, and Ben must outwit not just the hunters, but a nation addicted to watching him fall. So I was excited to watch this movie. Like I said, the trailer didn't really hook me immediately, but I love Edgar Wright, which was the reason I wanted to jump in and watch this. And what I will say is, this movie is enjoyable. It definitely has some solid moments. I think it has charming, funny moments. It has grisly violence, things that I love about Edgar Wright as a director, but it does not feel like an Edgar Wright movie, unfortunately. A lot of the visual charm and spectacle that exists in his movies, a lot of the way that he incorporates editing as a punchline, a lot of the things that I really love about him as a filmmaker don't exist in this movie. And there are a lot of cliches. And obviously, the subject matter of this movie is incredibly relevant culturally and societally, but it feels a little hammy, which makes it a little difficult to be completely invested. But I still think it's a fun movie overall, and I'm going to talk about it when I break it down for you today. So that lengthy description broke it down, but at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to Ben Richards, played by Glen Powell, and we're living in this, sort of futuristic version of the United States of America, where people are really struggling financially, unless you're a part of the 1% or the elite. And he is married and has a young kid, and his kid is getting sick with the flu, and it is so bad people can't even afford medication to treat the flu anymore. And he's been fired from multiple jobs. He doesn't know what to do. His wife is trying to take on extra work, but he's afraid of the types of jobs that she's taking because her life could be threatened. And so there's this contest that runs called The Running Man, and essentially you sign yourself up for it, and you have to survive. I think it is a month, 30 days. You wear this thing every single night. You have to send a video in to the competition, and every person can call you in and report you. And there are these groups. There's this group called the Hunters that track you down and kill you. But if you survive, you win a very large cash prize. And at first, Ben is like completely put off by this. He wants nothing to do with it. But desperation takes hold, and he finally indulges, and he eventually signs up for it. And so he gets involved in this competition. He's making the right moves. He's being incredibly smart, but he feels like the competition isn't all that it's said to be. He feels like they're cheating in one way or another. And the entirety of the film is him trying to fight for survival to win this money so that his daughter can live and be treated from the flu that she's suffering from. So, like I said, I found this movie to be entertaining. There's definitely a lot of enjoyable elements with it, but it is disappointing. I feel like because I know who Edgar Wright is as a director, because of how much I love him and I appreciate his work, there's so much about this where I just feel potential palpably in a way that I'm like, this could have been something really remarkable. And instead, it's something that like filled a 2 hour void. But I will talk about some of the positives. Glen Powell is really the star of the show here. And I feel like in all the movies I've seen him in so far in his career, this is the film that really gave him the ability as an actor to shine. He is really eating up the screen time every time that he is on screen. He's charming, he's funny, he's witty. When he has to be serious, he can do a really great job. And I think his charisma is really a big part of why this film is as effective as it possibly can be. Josh Brolin is also one of the highlights of this movie. He plays the producer of The Running Man, and I feel like his character very early on gives off kind of slimy, seedy vibes in like an oh, you can trust me, I'm inviting type of way. And I love Josh Brolin. I think he's a remarkable actor, and he is really solid in this movie, also eating up the screen time. Another one, Colman Domingo, for the moments that he's on screen. Colman is just one of the greatest gifts to Hollywood that we've seen in a long time, and I just genuinely love him as a human being and as an actor, and like he's just a great person. And watching him in this, just amazing. He was eating up the scenery. He's alive and fun, and he just brought a lot to the screen as well. I'm also a big Michael Cera fan, so anytime he was on screen, I really enjoyed his performance. Not really straying far away from who he is, but I think he provides a level of charm. So all the performances in this movie are really great. Cinematographically, there were moments in this that I could see Edgar Wright's editing style, but I didn't really love the muted color palette. I feel like everything's really dreary, and I understand like you're trying to encapsulate this sort of post-apocalyptic kind of like hellscape that these people are living in, which I can understand, but like I wanted the movie to feel alive, and it didn't. It felt kind of just bleh. But there were some moments of editing. There were some charming Edgar Wright moments where you have like this, you know, the TV showcasing the Running Man, and it's like silly, goofy animations with people exploding, which is one of the things that I love about Edgar Wright, is kind of that vulgar violence mixed in with like wholesome comedy. It's one of the things that I love a lot about him. I just think that it works really well, and there were elements of that in the editing. The music in this also was really good, and I appreciated it. And like I said, this is a film that provides, you know, societal commentary that everybody understands, which is that the 1%, the wealthy elite, don't care about you as a human being. They will exploit you, manipulate you, take advantage of you, just to make a buck. And I think this movie, you know, showcases it in a way that is not subtle whatsoever. And I think that's part of the problem. Like there's moments of it that works, but there's some of it, like there's droning expositional dialogue where it just becomes kind of nauseating how on the nose it is, and not even in a charming way. I feel like there's movies in the 80s that did that I feel like works because of kind of the cheese of it all. But this, it doesn't come across as quite nearly as endearing as some of those movies. There's some pacing issues in this too. I found it to start to get a little bit repetitive at the midway point. Once Michael Cera's character showed up, I was really kind of on board. I felt like it added a comedic charm. There were a lot of moments with him living at home with his elderly mother that I just thought were really funny. But I still like, I just kept wanting more. I was like, Edgar Wright has given me so much, even movies in his catalog that people didn't love as much, like Last Night in Soho. There's still something about that movie that I can keep coming back to that I appreciate so much. And in this, I was just like, it filled the 2 hour void, but would I ever really want to come back and watch it? That's an answer to a question I don't have yet. I'm not really sure. Like, I didn't dislike my time watching it. It's not like an ineptly made movie or anything. It just feels like there was probably some studio interference and some things that made it not as much of an Edgar Wright movie. And I already know all the hoops he had to jump through to try to get Ant-Man made. And I don't know what this was like, especially considering it's a remake. It's based off of a Stephen King book. Like there's a lot of different things that you have to adhere to in that type of a situation. But I just wanted a lot more out of this. And I feel like I said, it's not a miserable experience. I had fun with my time with it. I just wanted a lot more than what I got. So have you seen The Running Man? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was fun, but still a little bit disappointing, and it's definitely my least favorite in Edgar Wright's catalog. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.